Sold my PS5 overnight after my dad threatened to trash it for not gifting it to my stepbrothers for Christmas. My mom and dad met and briefly dated while they were both studying at uni. My mom gave birth to me after they had broken up and had to sue my dad for child support. I was raised by my mom and had virtually nothing to do with my dad throughout my childhood. My mom was an international student and her family cut ties with her due to the circumstances of my birth. Tragically, 2 years ago, I lost my mom to cancer and thus I was placed under the care of my dad. My dad has remarried and has 2 sons, 5 and 7, with his wife. It wasn't a bad arrangement at first, but we were all essentially strangers. I was given a bedroom to myself and we shared some meals but other than kept to myself. About 10 months ago, I was lucky enough to score a casual job at an aged care facility as IT support. It was stupid easy money as it involves installing and maintaining a dozen or so common PCs used by the residents plus running basic computing workshops. I ended up accruing a whole lot of disposable income in a short time. Stupidly, instead of just keeping quiet about it, I decked out my room with a new TV, headphone and a PS5. Obviously, this setup was of great interest to my 2 stepbrothers. Initially, my rule was that they could play the PS5 anytime I wasn't using it but I would get first dibs if I wanted to play or use my TV. I was also super accommodating by buying an extra controller, which I didn't need, and several kid-friendly games that they wanted to play. I eventually had to change the rule to only play when I was there because the 5-year-old destroyed one of my controllers through spilling juice on it. This is where the drama started. They whined to my parents who then ordered me to place the PS5 in the living room. I refused, stating that I had purchased it with my own money. This led to their argument that I have too much money and should contribute rent, utilities and food money. I called their bluff and said sure, draw up a contract and I'll get a lawyer to review it to ensure it complies with the Family Law Act. My dad then told the boys that he was going to buy a separate PS5 for the boys for Christmas but the dude is clueless about the global shortage. Finally last night, after realizing that he had zero change of buying one for close to RRP, my dad threatened me to either voluntarily gift my PS5 to the boys for Christmas or he would toss it in the bin while I was at school. I was so pissed that I went on Facebook Marketplace and sold the PS5. The boys found out today and were devastated. I feel really bad because they shouldn't be punished for this shit show. My parents are in their room talking about me and I'm sitting here in my room. Update 1. I'm at work now but my stepmom had a chat with me this morning and it was quite positive. She said she didn't know about my existence until right before I came to live with them and so it caused a huge rift between her and dad. She apologized for projecting that onto me and not being more welcoming. She also didn't know about my dad's threats and told me that it won't happen on her watch. My half-brothers also admitted to her about the juice incident. She said that she is going to get the boys a Switch for Christmas and she offered to pay me the difference between RRP and getting a new PS5. I probs won't take the money but at least it's a step forward. This was the longest conversation I have ever had with her 2 BTW. No comms from my dad yet, lol. To answer some common questions. 1. My bank account is entirely in my name only, Australia. No one else has ability to view or access the balance. I actually don't think my dad's demand for rent was about money, they both earn a good salary. He's just butthurt that I'm not reliant on his money. 2. Yes, I really am 15, lol. I typed out my post in Word and so that it could be spell and grammar checked, maybe that's what confused people? 3. I get 27 Australian dollars. 50 an hour on a casual contract, with additional loading for weekends/PHS. The operations manager at the aged care facility is super chill and allows me to schedule my hours around school. I just have a cap that I can't go over. She lets me do my homework on the clock and I get free meals from cafeteria. If I help the residents on non-facility devices they usually tip me, in cash or sometimes cookies, lol. I've got a fair bit saved up because I don't really have any expenses. 4. I've got a shoebox of documents from when my mom passed. I think my mom's assets is looked after by a trustee firm which will be turned over to me at 18. The law firm managing the will had previously explained this to me but I wasn't really paying attention at the time. I've got to still go through everything. 5. I sold PS5 for a tidy profit, even with the cost of the damaged controller. I'm not desperate for one ATM so I'll just sign up for a waiting list again so I won't need to take up my stepmom's offer. Update 2. So we've got a gathering with the extended family today. This is the first time I've met any of them due to COVID, and they've all been super lovely to me. My stepmom showed them my original post and they are all getting stuck into dad. My uncle, dad's younger brother, has set up a Reddit account for him and he's doubling down as he thinks Redditors will take his side when they read his account of it. I'm not going to link or read his post but people have been telling me it's quite a bloodbath. But wait, IT gets better. The father then did his own AITA post. A few days ago, my bio son Jonah, not real name, posted a biased and frankly defamatory post about an incident in my home regarding a PS5. My wife was kind enough to share the post and comments with our entire extended family at our Christmas gathering so apparently now I'm a huge asshole. My brother suggested that I post here to set records straight and give people both sides of the issue. So listen, how am I the asshole here? I've taken in this kid into my home, a kid who BTW will receive a sizable inheritance in a few years thanks to May's estate. I've given him a home, a family and fund his lifestyle, all at the cost of my own relationship. In return, I haven't asked for a cent, and he won't treat me with respect nor follow my rules, but somehow, I'm the giant asshole who's in the study typing this out instead of enjoying Christmas with my extended family. Instead of attacking me, I'm hoping people will now give their fair opinion of the situation based on seeing both sides of the story. The father gets as flamed as you imagine. There's a lot of emotions running through me right now, so I'm sorry for rambling a bit. Firstly, I'm immensely grateful to all the Redditors who reached out to me to voice your support or to make sure that I'm okay. I'm very touched. Secondly, I got to meet and spend time with my extended family today. There were over 40 of them here. They are a rowdy bunch, but they are amazing. They really made me feel welcome. Some of my cousins are gamers too, so there was an instant connection. In terms of family, it's been mostly mom and I for my whole life, so this is definitely new to me. But my new fam were 100% accommodating and were very interested in me. Thirdly, my stepmom turned out to be a champ. One of the first things she did was introduce me and show everyone my Reddit post. It turned into a massive debate where nearly the whole family laid into dad, including my grandparents. At one stage my uncle, another Redditor, pulled me aside and told me that don't worry mate, your dad has always been a bit of a stubborn C/T, he'll get over it. Another amazing thing was when my nan said she knew my mum quite well and we had a great chat about her. I think we broke dad in the process. My dad got very loud arguing with the family and my uncle somehow trolled my dad into posting on Reddit to tell his side. He's been on his laptop in his study since then for nearly the whole night, glued to the screen. He didn't even come out for dinner. I don't know how this will end, but all I know is that I feel so much better. Whatever happens with dad, at least I have some amazing family members, swapped some gamer tags with my cousins and have reached some common ground with my stepmom. To think, all this started with a single Reddit post. I lack the words to describe how grateful I am. Thank you for your generosity, thank you for your love. I hope everyone out there can be as lucky as me and spend the holidays with their loved ones. Sending you peace, love and good vibes, wherever you are. John Update 3. My eldest son is undergoing a hormonal-fueled rebellious phase. His behavior consists of things like rolling his eyes when I talk, back-chatting when I tell him to do something, overemphasizing putting on his headphones when I enter the room and a whole laundry list of other passive-aggressive behaviors. It was his birthday yesterday and he was going to go out with his friends this weekend to celebrate by paintballing. However, when I got home from work yesterday I noticed that he had failed to do some chores I had set him and then did the whole headphones routine when I started telling him off for it. I got so sick of his attitude that I threatened to ground him for 2 weeks, which means not letting him leave the house except for work. My words clearly cut through his headphones and it dawned on him that he would not be allowed to go paintballing this weekend. So he took off his headphones and said, "Go fuck yourself," and then shut himself in his room. This naturally led to his actual grounding. The grounding didn't seem to faze him as he spends a lot of time in his room anyway. I cut off his devices from our home Wi-Fi, but he works around this by having own hotspot. He refused to come out for dinner last night when my wife asked him to and has basically barricaded himself in his room. At 10 p.m. last night, he ordered himself a meal via a delivery app. Again, he has clearly been passive-aggressive here, flaunting his independence as he has a perfected lovely meal in the fridge made by my wife. I was still up watching TV so intercepted the delivery and ate the meal myself. At some point my son must have come out and seen me but retreated back to his room without saying anything. My wife thinks I am a major off for eating the meal, but I think it comes part and parcel with the grounding. My wife also thinks I'm too harsh with due to the grounding. I'll let him go to paintball if he apologizes. So am I the here Reddit? The Sun posted this comment in reply. Hi everyone. Sorry for hijacking the top comment. This is my dad's post. Thanks for everyone's support. I don't think I need to add any more fuel to the fire here. The post and the comments largely speak for themselves. I just wanted to give a quick update to everyone that I'm 100% fine and okay. My stepmom vetoed my punishment, so I'm all good to go out with my friends this weekend. One of my new uncles has asked me to stay with them for a while, which is also super cool. So I'm doing well and loving life. These comments are hilarious. Much love. AITA for buying my wife a new dress, posted on February 2, 2022. My, M, 34, wife, F, 29, and I regularly attend formal functions, once every 2 to 3 weeks. I work as a consultant and these events are a great way to attract new business and for network. My wife generally dislikes these things but she puts on a good front for me. It's generally a good night involving lots of food, alcohol and socializing while our kids are looked after by a sitter. Due to the pandemic, we haven't had any for about 2 years but they are now starting to come back. On a function 2 weeks ago, my wife came downstairs dressed in a pantsuit and her hair in a simple ponytail. Don't get me wrong, she still looked amazing but pretty much all the other ladies were ball gowns or cocktail attire. When we talked about it afterwards she told me that she was sick of the hours of hair, makeup, nails and preparation and that if I insisted she will dress how she pleases. I tried to explain that these things are unnecessarily part of my industry but she wouldn't budge. She counters that she never drags me to any of her work functions, which I responded that we should compare payslips, which was clearly the wrong thing to say, and she left the room. After the argument, I tried to make it up to her so I ordered a very nice and expensive gown for her to wear for the next function. I even took it to our tailors for adjustment as they know her measurements. When I presented the dress to her, she was initially very happy and said the dress was gorgeous, but as soon as I mentioned that she should wear it for our next function, she immediately blew up at me. She thinks I am being manipulative and going against her wishes. I thought I was just offering her a nice gesture. AITA? Update 4. I'm sure many of you would be ecstatic to know that my marriage may be over. I came home this evening to find that my wife and my 2 younger boys have left, probably at her mother's house. My oldest is still staying at my brother's house since beginning of Jan. This has hit me hard. As Redditors now remind me on a daily basis, I now know I have been a shitty husband and father. I have some self-reflection to do. I am stubborn, but my wife has always been there to talk me down. I guess she has had enough. The only communication I have is a text from my wife saying she wants a divorce and that her lawyers will get in touch regarding separation arrangements. I have tried calling, but it keeps going to voicemail, same as my in-laws. I want to apologize. I want to offer to go to counseling or therapy like she asked. If I still can't get through to her via phone, I am thinking of going to my in-laws' house. I have to try to at least talk to her. I guess my Redditors hate me, but I welcome any suggestions on if there is anything I can try. Since AITA wasn't in his camp, Dad continued to post, but in other subs my wife wants to divorce me and won't talk to me. How can I win her back? Posted on February 7, 2022. Hi all, I need some advice about how to win back my wife, and I am genuinely willing to do anything.
My wife, F, 29, and I, M, 34, of 8 years had been having serious relationship issues over the last few years.
The main area of friction between us is that I have a son, M, 16, from a previous teenage fling that I never told her about. We also have another 2 young children together. My 16-year-old had to come live with us about 3 years ago because his biological mother died. His presence in our lives caused a lot tension between my wife and I because she felt I majorly breached her trust. We argued more and more about minor things until last Thursday I came home to an empty house. I am devastated. My wife is the love of my life and has always been the main support center in my life. I tried calling her, but she kept sending me to mail. She sent me a text saying that she wasn't ready to talk, but was filing for a divorce and to wait to hear from her lawyers regarding separation mediation. I am a wreck. I would do anything to have her back, including counseling and therapy. She had previously asked me to attend, but I was too arrogant to take it up. I felt that if I could just talk to her, I can have a chance to explain and we can get through this. The next day I did something stupid. I went to her workplace, accounting firm, with her favorite takeaway lunch to try to talk to her. She must have worded up the reception staff because they adamantly refused to buzz me into the office. Her staff even went as far as calling for building security. Not wishing to cause further drama, I left voluntarily. That night, I doubled down on my stupidity. I tried to visit her at her parents' house with a bunch of gifts for her and the kids. My mill answered through intercom but wouldn't let me in. I was so frustrated and emotional that I broke down at their door, basically making a scene and refusing to leave. Later my brother turned up. I assume my wife called. He tried to convince me to go home, but we ended up in a shouting match. He eventually tried to manhandle me back to my car, so I got into a physical altercation with him, but I left when my father-in-law came out and threatened to call the police on me. Things have really gone downhill since then. This morning, 2 police constables turned up to where I work with a provisional domestic violence order along with a summons to attend court for a permanent order. I was in shock and as a result was inadvertently quite rude to the constables. This put them offside. I am a contractor working at a client site, and so when my client asked the constables what the matter was about, they said they couldn't say for privacy reasons, but then immediately handed out business cards with their family violence liaison unit title embossed at the top. So now my firm's senior partner has waved me off going back to the client site and I may be fired. I feel like this is the wake-up call I needed. I know I have been a narcissistic a-hole and am ready to change. What can I do to talk to her? To show her I am determined to be better? I don't want to just end it like this. I know that if I have a chance to explain myself, to apologize, to promise to work really hard on my marriage, to work on my narcissism, to go to therapy, to go to counseling, whatever my wife needs to forgive me and we can get on with our lives. Our court hearing is in a few weeks, so I am thinking of turning up early with some expensive jewelry and try to talk to my wife before the hearing. My solicitor has told me this is a bad idea, but I feel like I need to do something. I don't want to negotiate with my wife across a courtroom. I just want to remind her how much I love her and how much she means to me. Update 5. I get it, it's over. You guys are right. I fucked up. Irrevocably this time. I've lost my family and likely will lose my job. I've always tried to control everything in my life. It's worked for me in the past because my family is wealthy and they fixed things for me. But my wife and brother must have spoken to my parents because they said I can't use the law firm my family has on retainer for my DVO or upcoming separation proceedings anymore. I'll hire my own solicitor as soon as stuff starts opening. I'll seek mental help too. Most importantly, I'll leave my wife alone. Thanks for your comments and advice. The son then comes back with an update from his stepmom and a comment on his dad's last post. Hi everyone, a lot has happened over the last few months. My stepmom has been reading all of these posts and comments. She saw that he's now saying that he will change and hoping to gain some sympathy of it. She emailed me this today to pass on to people can decide if he deserves any. I haven't edited it anyway, just copy and pasted it. Hi everyone. I am not a Reddit user, but I have been following the messages that my stepson and my soon-to-be ex has written. I would also like to thank the hundreds of kind people who immediately saw through his bullshit and gave him some hard truths. I am also grateful of all the well-wishers to me, my sons and Jonah. Apart from the few incidents last week, which isn't the complete picture BTW, he has stopped trying to contact me directly. But I am hearing from mutual friends that he is on a mission to garner sympathy, trying lay blame for his life falling apart everywhere except for himself. I note that he is throwing a pity party for himself on Reddit too, hoping to get people to congratulate him on how much he has changed. Ha! I want to set the record that this man deserves no sympathy. I have been with him for 8 years. Yes, I realize that I am a naive idiot and I take my part of the blame for not only sticking around but for having 2, now 3, incredible, light of my life, adorable children with this man. I will lay out the autopsy of my marriage and let people judge for themselves. I met him when I was 21, a broke uni student trying to make it on my own. I met him while working at my part-time job. I was taken in by his looks, his wealth and his confidence. We got married within 3 months. I was stupid and vain, tricking myself into thinking he was the prince to whisk me off to a better life. After our wedding, the manipulation started. He wanted to convince me not to continue my studies. You don't need to, babe. I'll look after you. You just look pretty and look after my house. After the birth of our first child, I took 12 weeks off for maternity leave. I was pretty established in my job then. He again tried to convince me to be a stay-at-home mom. He tried to gaslight me, saying that it's not fair on your son, and that his fondest memories as a child was with his mom at home. Throughout the marriage he would constantly use his wealth as leverage. My dad, bless him, is a good tradie but terrible businessman. Early on my ex arranged a loan through his family trust to rescue my dad's business. My ex would then gently remind me of that fact every time we disagreed about something. He would constantly monitor my credit card usage. He would question me on certain transactions that weren't to his liking. Egg. Fashion, gym, hair, Botox, makeup equals completely fine. But a latte and a muffin? Who the hell did you have a coffee with? He would constantly provide input on my appearance. As an example, he would show me pictures of celebrities and tell me that it would be nice if I dressed and did my makeup more like that celebrity. He would also make offhand comments about what I ate. Are you sure you want to order that in a main size? Didn't you have a sugary drink already at lunch? Or my personal pet hate, I think my wife will have the salad tonight. At the industry awards or charity things we went to, he would tell me who I should talk to. I can't tell you how many inane, vapid conversations I've had with other spouses about the latest bags or some other bullshit winter collection. I once made a joke about him in front of some of his colleagues and he scolded me like a child on the car ride home. You all know about him hiding Jonah's existence from me. What you may not know is that he lied about Jonah's mom and made her out to a gold digger who tricked him into having a kid. This is why my initial reception of Jonah was definitely not warm and I am ashamed for it. He's a really decent and sweet boy and is so kind and patient with my 2 boys. He deserves better than his dad. I can go on for pages and pages. This list doesn't even begin to describe the level of narcissism, manipulation and control he had over me for the last 8 years. I know I am equally to blame for this, but I'm done with it now. I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't confident enough. I didn't want to say no to a man who gave me everything. Even now, at weak moments, I feel myself start to miss him and wonder if I should just endure it. That maybe he'll change just enough that I may be able to live with it. But then his recent fake pity party bullshit snapped me right out of it. I don't want his money. I don't want him. I just want my kids and I to live our lives free of him. Thank you for reading. He also adds his own living situation. I'm living with my uncle and cousins at the moment. My dad has texted/called me a few times but only as way to talk to my stepmom. Update 6. It's been about 3 months since my last update, and a lot has happened. I've settled into life with my uncle and cousins, and it feels more like home than I ever experienced with my dad. My uncle has been amazing. He's the complete opposite of my dad, always checking in on me but giving me space when I need it. My stepmom and half-brothers have moved into their own place now. It's a smaller apartment, but she says it feels more like a home than the mansion ever did. I visit them every weekend, and it's honestly great to see how much happier everyone is. My half-brothers have adjusted well to the new situation. They're resilient little guys. The Switch my stepmom got them for Christmas was a huge hit, and we often play Mario Kart together when I visit. The divorce proceedings are moving forward. My stepmom's lawyer is apparently a shark, and my dad's attempts to delay things or manipulate the situation aren't working. He tried to use me as leverage at one point, claiming that my stepmom was alienating me from him. But that backfired when I submitted a written statement about how I chose to live with my uncle. School has been going well. My grades have improved since moving in with my uncle. Turns out it's easier to focus on schoolwork when you're not constantly walking on eggshells at home. I'm still working at the aged care facility, and I've been promoted to lead the computer workshops. The residents are awesome, and some of them have become like surrogate grandparents to me. The most unexpected development happened last week. My dad showed up at my uncle's house unannounced. I was alone at home, and when I opened the door, he looked different. Thinner, with dark circles under his eyes. He asked if we could talk, and against my better judgment, I let him in. He started with an awkward apology about the PS5 incident, but I could tell it wasn't sincere, more like he was checking a box. Then he got to the real reason for his visit. He's been seeing a therapist, court mandated, I later found out, and claimed he's working on himself. He asked if I would consider moving back in with him, saying the house feels empty without everyone. I told him no. I explained that I'm happy where I am, and that I don't trust him to actually change. He got frustrated and started saying that I owed him for taking me in after Mom died. That's when I lost it. I reminded him that he only took me in because he was legally obligated to, and that he'd spent most of my life pretending I didn't exist. The conversation ended with him storming out after I refused to tell him anything about stepmom's new place or give him her new number. As he was leaving, he said something that's been bothering me: "You'll regret this when you turn 18 and need access to your inheritance." I called my uncle immediately, and he contacted the law firm handling my mom's estate. Turns out my dad has been trying to get information about my inheritance and may have been attempting to position himself as my financial guardian. The lawyers assured us that everything is secure and that my dad has no legal access to any of it. My stepmom has started dating again. Nothing serious, just coffee with a guy from her office. My half-brothers told me about it with wide eyes like it was the biggest secret ever. I'm happy for her, she deserves someone who treats her with respect. As for me, I've started saving for university. Between my job and the inheritance I'll receive at 18, I should be able to study whatever I want without worrying about money. I'm thinking about computer science or maybe law. Seeing how my stepmom's lawyer has handled everything has been pretty inspiring. I still have moments where I feel sad about not having a real relationship with my dad, but then I remember that family isn't just about blood. My uncle, cousins, stepmom, and half-brothers have shown me what real family support looks like. And sometimes I think about Mom and hope she'd be proud of how I'm handling everything. Update 7. It's been almost a year since everything fell apart with my dad, and life has taken some unexpected turns. I'm still living with my uncle and his family, and honestly, it's been the most stable home environment I've ever experienced. My cousins have become like the siblings I never had growing up, and my uncle and aunt treat me like one of their own kids. The divorce between my dad and stepmom was finalized 3 months ago. She got primary custody of my half-brothers, which surprised absolutely no one. My dad got visitation rights, but from what I hear, he's been inconsistent with showing up. Classic dad behavior. I've been visiting my stepmom and half-brothers regularly. They're doing really well in their new place. It's smaller than the mansion, but it feels like an actual home. My half-brothers are thriving in their new school, and they've made friends in the neighborhood. The Switch my stepmom got them for Christmas is still getting plenty of use, and they've become obsessed with Zelda games. I've been teaching them some basic coding on weekends, and the 8-year-old is showing some real talent for it. My stepmom has been seeing someone for about 4 months now. He's a teacher at my half-brother's school, completely different from my dad in every way. Quiet, thoughtful, and genuinely interested in what the boys have to say. He came over for dinner last weekend while I was visiting, and it wasn't awkward at all. He brought board games, and we all played together. My half-brothers adore him. As for my dad, well, things have gotten worse there. He lost his consulting job after the DVO incident, and apparently, his reputation in the industry took a serious hit. His family's law firm refused to represent him in the divorce, which meant he had to hire outside counsel who didn't have the same connections. He's been trying to rebuild his client base, but from what I've heard through family gossip, he's struggling. He showed up at my school about 2 months ago, trying to talk to me. I refused to engage and immediately called my uncle, who arrived within minutes. My dad started making a scene about how I was turning everyone against him and how I'd regret it when I needed him. The school ended up calling security, and they escorted him off the property. The school counselor has been amazing through all this, helping me process everything. The most significant development happened last month when I turned 17. The trustee firm managing my mom's estate contacted me to start preparing for the transfer of assets when I turn 18. They arranged a meeting with me, my uncle, and a financial advisor to discuss what will happen next year. It turns out my mom had invested wisely, and between her life insurance and investments, I'll be inheriting a substantial amount, enough to pay for university and then some. During the meeting, the trustee mentioned that my dad had tried multiple times to access information about the estate, claiming he needed it for tax purposes. Thankfully, the firm had strict instructions from my mom's will that he was to have zero access to any information. The trustee also revealed that my mom had left a letter for me to read when I turn 18. I'm both excited and nervous about what it might contain. I'm still working at the aged care facility, and I've been promoted again. I'm now responsible for upgrading their entire computer system and training the staff on the new software. The residents continue to be amazing. Mrs. Abernathy, who's 92, just learned how to video chat with her great-grandchildren in Canada and cried happy tears when she saw them for the first time in years. School is going well too. I'm in my final year now, and I've been accepted into a computer science program at university with a partial scholarship. Between that and my inheritance, I won't have to worry about student loans. My extended family has been incredibly supportive. Last month, they organized a surprise early birthday party for me, the first real birthday celebration I've had since my mom died. My cousins, uncle, aunt, stepmom, half-brothers, and even my grandparents were there. It felt like I finally had a real family again. There are still hard days, of course. I miss my mom terribly, especially as I approach adulthood without her guidance. Sometimes I catch myself wondering what life would have been like if my dad had been different, if he'd actually wanted to be a father to me from the beginning. But then I look at the family I've found, the one that chose me, and I realize I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. My uncle told me something profound the other day. He said, family isn't about who shares your DNA, it's about who shows up when you need them. Looking back at everything that's happened since that first Reddit post about the PS5, I couldn't agree more.